Welcome back to the Have Not Room. I am Ben, and here with me to talk about Big Brother are Chad and Brian, and we are here to talk about Week 6 of Big Brother 25. One of the crazier weeks, I would say, in modern Big Brother. I would say.
Yeah, Big Brother's back finally.
Mm-hmm.
We've podcasted through the darkest season being All Stars 2. We went through that, and now we're finally being rewarded. I feel like with this season. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
Yeah, no, I mean I said before that like every subsequent season has just seemingly gotten better than the previous one. So yeah, and obviously mea culpa. You know, we recorded like 45 minutes before NOMS last week, as we are again, because NOMS still have not happened as of recording right now for this week. And we I guess, bought in to Cam's chicanery and trickery and assumed that he was actually going to put up Jag and Blue with an Izzy backdoor. No, that didn't happen.
Yeah, do we owe Cam an apology here?
I don't know if we got that far. I think we owe the viewers an apology for misleading them.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, so basically we moved the show later in the week to avoid being wrong with the eviction specifically, because we were very wrong, in the past, and now everything's changing regardless. So I guess whatever we say today, just assume the opposite happened, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's like a season for like things becoming obsolete and outdated basically an hour after you talk about them, which is fun. I mean, it's great as a viewer, but as a podcaster, it's very frustrating sometimes because you can never actually be talking about current information because I'm sure after we finish this podcast, I'll open up my phone and I'll see, the noms come through and they're different than what we expect them to be again. I guess we can go through. I think this past week of episodes, like Wednesday dragged on a bit because it was 2 hours for no reason. But the Sunday and Thursday episodes
all
for
of a
sure.
sudden, Josh Duhamel is not a reason to have a 2-hour episode, 45 minutes of which are promoting buddy games.
Look, I'm gonna destroy.
Which was a movie, apparently.
I absolutely hated that comp, and I don't understand how Josh Duhamel is hosting anything with that level of energy. I'll be fucking honest, because he very blatantly did not seem to want to be there. But Sunday episode, very, very good.
Yeah. Chad, what do you think of buddy games? Are you in on this? Did you check it out after the episode last night?
I think we watched like 5 to 10 minutes of it before turning it off.
That sounds about right. That's
before Feeds came back and swapped to the Walcott.
Right.
There's just so many like stupid game shows. Like I just started watching The Challenge now.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't need another one.
Yes. Yeah. I will say, and I said it on the last episode, I think I've enjoyed the challenge a lot more this season than the first US or Challenge US season. So hopefully it keeps getting better and better. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I can do buddy games. Not with Survivor coming up, that's for sure. And the Circle's filming as well. I don't need another one either.
Yeah. Buddy games to me just looks like Wipeout for people who peaked in high school.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so apparently I don't want to get too off track, but like apparently Josh Duhamel's a well-known actor somehow, as someone who's hosted a movie podcast in the past and who considers himself a pretty like plugged in person when it comes to like TV and movies. I had no idea who this man was. I'm a little bit feeling like I'm being gaslit, and because I'm like, oh, this is a new reality show host, and I went to his IMDb page, and he's been in straight up 100 movies, none of which I've seen somehow, and one of which is this Buddy Games movie that's now a show. And I guess with all this said, I'm not surprised it's one of Cam's favorite movies.
Yeah, I
He's
don't.
also in
I
Transformers.
He's in Transformers. All right.
One of them. I don't know which one.
yeah.
Does he play a Transformer or is he a human in it?
He's a human. I think he's in the last one with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like the
I've
last
only
one with him and Megan Fox.
Yeah, I've only seen the very first Transformers movie.
Mhm.
And I've seen people talk about how in the Mark Wahlberg one, there's a weird scene where it goes over like the age of consent laws. And like I've seen that on Twitter and stuff being like, why was this in the movie? What was the writer of this movie justifying here?
Buddy,
Mhm.
you gotta be 18.
Yes.
Like,
So that's about all I know. I don't know Josh. I'm sure his work is great.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
I feel like if he was getting, I don't know if he would be hosting a show that's definitely getting canceled after one season if he was getting a ton of Hollywood work. But I guess writer's strike is happening right now, so maybe there's just not a ton of movies being filmed.
Mhm. Yeah, this is definitely not considered struck work, as it's like
Mm-hmm.
no one's writing on this show, no one's doing any acting. This is you can keep doing it, Josh. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's definitely like the type of show that I expected to come out this fall, given the writer's strike. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, back to Big Brother.
Yeah, shock and awe this week.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you guys' thoughts on this like, I guess strategy? I loosely will call it a strategy of Cam's to not tell anybody his plan, even like Bowie, who's supposed to be his ally in this case, who like told him not to tell her, so she wouldn't have to be, she wouldn't have to lie about it to people. I don't know. It's unique, I guess. It's definitely a strategy. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I guess when the entire house is like visibly portraying how much they hate that you just won an HOH,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter what you do. And I mean, it was entertaining to watch. I was like praying he put up some mix. I didn't want to put up Suri. I do like Suri. I was like, please put up like Felicia and Izzy and just completely like shock the foundation. And thank God he did. But I mean, he should definitely tell Bowie at least. But seeing as this one ally.
He would have, but she explicitly told him not to tell her because she didn't want to have to lie to people. As we saw in the opening of Sunday's episode, was like
she was like, "No, Cam, it will really fuck over a podcast that I know about, so don't tell me."
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, Bowie had a big episode on Sunday, and then proceeded to have a 2-hour episode on Wednesday where she had 0 airtime at all. Where she was very upset at her Bye Bye Bitches, definitely real alliance and not fake alliance from week 1, that lied to her and didn't tell her about the way the vote was going. And Felicia and Suri and Izzy were basically telling her, suck it up, Buttercup. Welcome to Big Brother.
Yeah, I mean, we've made fun of Bowie a lot on this show, and we'll continue to make fun of Bowie a lot. She just doesn't do anything of note in the Big Brother house. I won't say it's like a completely wasted spot, but it's teetering on like, why do you like, if you're not gonna actively engage in the game, why did you try to get on Big Brother in the first place?
Yeah, it is disappointing to see like a handful of players. Like, I don't know whether they're not playing or not. I don't really keep up with the feeds as much as you guys, but like between like Bowie and Nicole, I mean, how many DRs do they have an episode? An average of 1 at most.
Yeah, Nicole's strategy seems to be to not be involved with anything. I don't know what Bowie's strategy is, if anything at all.
To have a fun summer.
Yeah, killing it. She would have been great on Buddy Games. You know, maybe that's how she was in the pool for Buddy Games and came over. But yeah, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, for me, Mimi is like every time that she kind of has an opportunity to play the game, she kind of just backs off of it. We saw this with like up until this week, Corey in America have tried to make something happen with her, and she just kind of like blown them off. She hasn't really trusted Corey for much of the game, and I think if it weren't the fact that she's so personally close to Felicia this week, and like Suri and Izzy and Jared weren't so like blatantly lying to her and keeping her out of information, I don't know if she even would have gotten on board with this inevitable vote flip. But I think she's moving potentially into being woken up a little bit that, Suri and Jared don't have her best interest at heart, and the Brown Sugar Babes Alliance is kind of dead in the water. And she did, a couple hours ago, formalize a final two with Felicia. So at least I think this past week at the very least has woken her up that she has not been playing as actively enough. And she's potentially correcting some of those mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, we're still pre-jury, so it's not too late to really wake up and make yourself a resume.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess going through, what were your thoughts, Chad, about the pie key wheel return? This is something that the fans have all been clamoring for since BB16, when the key wheel was replaced by the little box for the Battle of the Block Twist and then never changed back. The tension of having noms be blindsided because you're like pulling the keys one by one, and it's like, doing these like fake out things. What are your thoughts on that?
I kind of liked it, especially like this week. It worked really perfect for it. I wonder if that was just like a last minute decision from the producers because they had no idea who Cam was going to nominate. But I thought it was just a very fun, but like awesome way to do it. Because I was like watching, like, oh my god, who's it going to be? And then it got down to like America, Izzy, and Felicia, right? At one point. And I was like, oh my god, please don't nominate America because I actually like her and I want her to win. And she made winner pick still. But I thought it was like the perfect timing to do it. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that is true. Because like usually, like 90+% of the time, people, like everyone in the house basically knows who the noms are going to be ahead of time. So it's not like that much of a loss to not have the key wheel anymore. But definitely for nominations like this, it really demonstrates the value of like that kind of a nomination style in terms of just like dramatic effect for TV, and just like especially with the way that pies, like it's so like visible and physical, and you have like Izzy so confidently taking her glasses off at the start to prepare, and you have Felicia taking her tooth out, and then the like realization on their faces that it's us when he initially pies Jag, and Izzy just like slowly puts her glasses back on, and Felicia slowly puts her fake tooth back in, and it's just like, oh man, it's just like you can't beat that in terms of like the like physical, like it's like a physical visualization of cockiness and people at the top being toppled.
Oh yeah, I thought it was the perfect week for that. I'm so glad they did it. It beats just like a regular like, putting out Izzy, Felicia. And it's like, oh my god, huge surprise. But no, that was like the best way to do it.
Yeah, Brian, what are your thoughts on the pie ceremony?
Well, I do agree they should bring the key wheel back. I think that was a really interesting and fun way to do nominations. I understand why they got rid of it for the Battle of the Block, but then they never brought it back after Battle of the Block was gone. So having it back in one form is fun, and it's the Humiliverse, but it can just add so much drama as we saw here. And so bring back the key wheel, please.
Yeah. So Wednesday night. It was 2 hours for some reason.
Very random.
Yeah, about half of the episode was the comp. I kind of expected it to be some kind of Bowl Arena style, like Yankee swap. That just made a lot of sense for the theming for the week. I personally did not like this compared to a normal Bowl Arena competition at all. I thought it was just explicitly worse. I couldn't follow what was going on at all. So when you have a normal Bowl Arena comp, it's like a head-to-head like knockout style, right? Where you have two people simultaneously doing the comp, and because it's bowling, it's very visibly easy to see who's winning and like who's in the lead and who's doing well, because you can just see how many pins are left up. For this, it was, I didn't know who was doing well. I didn't even know what round they were on half the time. I couldn't understand what the scoring was because like you could barely like comprehend where the balls were landing. I don't know. It went on for way too long because they had to each individually run 15 times or something like that, or however many it would be. I guess 6 5 4 or 6 5 4 3 2 or whatever. I don't know.
It was a long comp, and it made it even like worse because it was kind of still no matter what they did, there's a random element to it.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even like in like Bowl Arena, they're aiming for the pins. They're aiming to go right here. It was like, well, you just get it up and then hopefully it lands in a good number for you. It could not go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the spinning doesn't really do anything. Like,
well, unless you're Felicia.
Well, anything affects Felicia physically, at least. But she's also 60, so.
yeah. No shame. She's
no shame.
Years old.
But everyone else who had a chance, like it didn't affect them at all.
I think it also didn't help that the outcome of the comp didn't matter because the person who came in third was the one who ended up with the veto. So like we just have to keep watching the comp for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Poor Matt, man.
Yeah, Jared won the veto in the same way Victoria won the veto.
Yeah.
Did he win the veto, or does Matt? How do we, as a fan, count this? Is the winner of the comp the person who wins the veto, or who wins the comp?
I mean, I think that for the record books, it's whoever ends up with the veto. But usually, I think people put an asterisk. So, like, I think people talk about like, oh yeah, Victoria won 0 comps the entirety of BB16, even though she like technically finished the Yankee swap comp with the veto in her hand, like by default.
It's a thing people like make fun of Victoria for. Like she couldn't even win a comp. The only time she won something is because it was given to her.
Well, yeah, it's also kind of like BB19 where like Christmas, you know, like the woman with a broken leg won a broken foot won the running competition because everybody threw it to her.
Yeah. Oh man. But yes, good for Jared, I guess. He's a self-proclaimed legend. That's always good when you're proclaiming yourself to be a legend. It never looks bad ever. It never backfires. Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it does create enough confusion and tension that Cameron will eventually, after like 10 different tries, believe America when she's trying to drive it into Cameron's head that Jared is against him in orchestrated Red's eviction last week and was originally going to, you know, evict him if he didn't win the veto. Because, before that, Jared was like this confidant of Cameron's, and he had him like right below Bowie on his list of people that he trusted for like no like logical reason at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we can see Jared being a very flawed player, but he somehow does get people to trust him very well. Like that's not all Surrey's doing. So I got to give him a little credit for that. Yeah. Does he do anything good with the trust he has gotten? Not really, but he gets it in the first place.
Yeah, and like I said before, or I tweeted this out that ultimately we're going to see the vote flip against Izzy here when that that easily could not have been should not have been the case if not for a series of specific events transpiring. And the reason that happened is because Izzy was always Surree's insurance policy, but while Surree was tethered to Felicia for 48 hours with this canoe punishment, Jared took the keys to her car and went out and crashed it, so she had to use her insurance policy. It's like the metaphor that I used.
It's a good one. It really is.
I like it.
It was impressive to watch Jared work. Like Sri had constructed a beautiful web that protected her and Jared, from almost all angles. And Jared in just 48 hours just completely destroyed it. It was impressive work.
Yeah, it's your winner pick, Brian.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I can't really talk. My winner pick went out second, so.
Listen. I made the mistake of thinking that actually having his mother be Surree Fields, someone who I feel, as a Survivor super fan and a fan of these games, has taught me a lot about how these games work. I thought, being in the same house as her, Jared would have picked some of that up.
Everyone else did too.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, he's still in the house. I mean, he's we'll talk about it. He's in power right now. For now,
he saved himself potentially this week.
He might still go out pre-jury on Thursday. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah. So these noms by Cameron were definitely better than the noms that he was lying about. He originally was putting forward that the plan was Jag and Blue with an Izzy backdoor. That was obviously a facade. His plan was ultimately Felicia and Izzy with a Surree backdoor. The issue with those noms on paper at the time was that Surree, Jared, and Izzy were already setting up the dominoes in place for Felicia to basically be a scapegoat and for her to be essentially the first insurance policy, and to they were already planning on voting Felicia out as early as this coming week, this week or the next week. They didn't really care about her anymore because we got that on the show where she's got a big mouth. She's constantly blabbering information. She's completely untrustworthy as an ally. They eventually were oh, she's just a liability. If she goes, she goes. I don't care. But we get last night on a Thursday night show this America Corey conversation where Corey finally wakes up to his position in the game being absolute horseshit, and they're okay, maybe we should flip this vote and take out Izzy.
Yeah, so I guess, Ben, how do you feel about it? That everything that happened here and the move in general from this new five?
Well, I do think that I think the show gave, or I don't know if the show gave Corey too much credit or America too little. I think it was much closer to 50-50 in terms of the execution of this flip, where they kind of gave Corey more of the mastermind edit on the episode. Because they also, America also had conversations with Mimi. She had conversations with Jag. There was she put in just as much work as Corey did to make this flip happen. Ultimately, I think that 3 days ago, or maybe 4 days ago, it probably wouldn't have been correct for Corey to make this, play. But I think that ultimately, even though Izzy in her exit interview is going to claim that she was backing Corey and that Crossroads was a real thing, it really wasn't. And Izzy always would have capitulated to Surree and Jared if Felicia had gone, Jared still wins this HOH. He's still going to put up America and Corey. Izzy probably puts up 12 seconds of pushback and then like capitulates to them. So like she's not actually doing anything for him. She's, a bigger comp threat than Felicia on average, I would say. She's closer to the core because, like, as I said, Felicia is already being pushed out. And like basically like taking her out here puts Suri and Jared, and I guess Blue to a degree, completely on an island. And most HOH outcomes would have really solidified Corey and America's positions as like the new power core of the house. So I think it was ultimately correct. I just think, obviously him and America probably should have been better at this wall comp to actually be able to follow through and fully seize the power because, it's not great. I think a lot of people are going to look at them presumably being nominated here coming up as evidence that the flip was incorrect. When I think that the flip was like a necessary step towards them playing to win as opposed to like playing to not lose in the short term.
Yeah, and I mean, Chad, I'm sure you can agree. Like, we like it a lot better when people actually play to win. I mean, we already make fun of Bowie on here.
Yeah, I mean, no one likes to just watch people float.
No one wants to watch BB19 again.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, one person, maybe two people are playing to win, but, it's just terrible.
Hey, at least we had one fight this year so far, right?
It was fun. It was so fun to watch on feeds. It was a blast. I'll never fault anyone for going out swinging in one of these games. I'd much rather, like, if I was a player, I'd feel a lot better about being like, I tried, I thought this was the right thing, and it didn't work out, than being like, I wish I had tried something,
Yeah, I mean, look at Heisem. At least he went out with a bang. Granted, he kind of was a prick, but.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because like Heisem was kind of I don't know if Heisem's a great example because like he was like kind of blinded by an alliance that didn't care about him and did their bidding and then was like discarded.
Yeah, he got close to staying that as eviction night though, relatively.
That's fair, and that's why like I'm not totally writing off like Corey and America at this point. It's definitely possible that they both survive this week. The stated plan right now, as we as hinted, we have this wall comp. Jared eventually wins the wall comp. His stated plan seems to be to backdoor Cam and for Cam to be the actual eventual target for the week. Obviously, it's super early, and the way this house goes, people's mind change like once every hour, twice every hour. So that could definitely change. And as Brian hinted, Corey and Jared got into a huge fight before the eviction yesterday afternoon, which I assume we're going to see on the Sunday night episode during the wall comp interspersed. That's like usually how they would do it. They would have like the wall comp, and it's pretty boring in most cases to watch people just stand on the wall for 15-20 minutes of an episode. So they'll be like, okay, this is what happened before the eviction last week, and this is why it's important. And so, especially with Jared winning HOH and nomming Corey, it's definitely going to get airtime. And Corey basically like laid out the entire game to everybody, and he's like, here's all of the secrets I have. Take these secrets, Matt, Bowie, Jag. Like, these are your secrets now. This is why you shouldn't trust Jared and Suri, and they're snakes and liars, and playing everybody.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can run with it at all. I mean, hopefully they can prevent Cam from winning the veto here, and he can get backdoored, and they can, just keep on going with what they were planning to do. One thing I am a little afraid of is that just based on, the types of players some of these players are, they might just kind of go back to the power this week, and then like Suri will be able to
Mhm.
kind of rebuild everything because she has a buffer week of Jared being in power here.
Yeah, that's definitely a worry. But I don't really know if she has the troops behind her to maintain that, especially into a double eviction, because I think a double eviction is the perfect time to take a shot at somebody like a Jared, especially as he's coming off an HOH win where he can't play. So I'm less optimistic that Suri is going to be able to build something. Like she did just re-solidify, like, hey, let's try and do 7 deadly sins, but there's 6 of us left, obviously, because Izzy's gone. So it's going to be 6 deadly sins, but in reality, it's just a front to try and, swindle Jag and Felicia to a degree again. And the real core is Suri, Jared, Blue, and Matt, which I think Blue definitely is loyal to Jared and by extension Suri. Matt is playing, I think, the middle and is like willing to be loyal to Suri if he sees it as valuable to him. But I think that's really all she's going to ultimately be able to rebuild. Felicia and Mimi, as I mentioned earlier, just formed a final 2. They had decent conversations, or at least Mimi had decent conversations with both Corey and America last week. That's potentially a 4 with Jag as a 5th that could be rebuilt. And that's probably, if Cam goes out here, going to be like the new sides of the house, where you have like this 5 versus this 4. And Bowie, I guess, probably it fits in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Bowie's the swing.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. It should be very interesting with the double eviction coming up so quickly, and with like you said, Jared not being able to play in the double eviction.
Mhm.
It's hard for me to like predict what like players like Jag and Matt are gonna do. Because I can see them going either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Jag has frequently shown that he'll like seemingly wake up to the reality that surrounds him, and then like a day later fall back into the deep slumber of Suri's mist. So
yeah, I kind of remember the first night where they had the challenge where they were getting pulled, and they're like trying to. That's kind of Jag. He's trying to stay out of the Nether region and keep his head in the game, but he just keeps getting dragged back into it. Whatever happened to the Nether region? It's gone. One of the twists that just disappeared.
Well, I mean,
3 weeks.
We are being told that the double eviction is going to be scary versus team, so maybe it'll come back one final time before the jury. And then I assume that the theme will kind of die at the jury, which is usually what happens with these twists in themes.
Yeah.
We'll just give up on them around jury.
I thought we would see the Nether Demon Gorgon, whatever it was called again, but I guess not.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be like a recurring threat out there. But no.
I don't really. I mean, the whole twist is very hard to follow. So.
Hey, at least it's lasted longer than the BB takeover.
True. Do you guys have anything else, I guess, before we wrap up here? These were a good handful of episodes and a really strong week.
Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed this week. I hope the rest of the season can keep delivering at this level.
Yeah, no, it was a great week, and we didn't even air the first big fight in the house yet. So I'm excited for Sunday night's episode when that hopefully will be shown.
Yeah, we'll see how late 60 Minutes pushes us back to.
Well, it's Sunday Night Football followed by 60 Minutes, and then followed by, Big Brother finally.
Yeah, I would have to miss it, and probably I would imagine you guys might miss it live as well because the Dolphins and Patriots are playing on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, probably. I mean, even half of the normal Sunday episodes, I wait and I watch Monday morning.
Right.
Like when I wake up. So yeah, I mean, definitely one at 10:30. Probably not going to be watching it.
No.
Is it on at 10:30? Is that this episode or is it next week?
Yeah, this one is at 10:30.
Oh yeah.
For 1 week only, and then we're back to a normal schedule.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen no matter what, even if the Dolphins weren't playing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, BB. I can't. I watched till 11 o'clock for you. I can't watch till 11:30
Yeah.
for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Yeah, that's all I get.
Yeah. Great week.
What was your favorite parts, guys? What was your favorite part of the week?
My favorite part of the week was everyone telling Cameron stuff and him refusing to accept literally any piece of information that wrong.
He literally did the Trump meme.
Wrong.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. I'm just like, damn, you could have maybe positioned yourself really well this week if you had been open to anyone giving you information, but it still worked out for him, but not because of anything he did necessarily other than the initial nomination.
Yeah, Jag did more correct this week than Cam, but it still like ended up in an okay spot. He probably still gonna go this week. He doesn't want to veto, but yeah, at least he tried. That's all we can ask.
I know he wants to go by Space Cowboy. Has anyone called him Least Mode Cowboy yet? Because that's all I think of when I see him.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, look, hey, Caleb made it way farther than Cam is likely to make it, but Cam's at least played more self-interestedly than Caleb ever did on BB16.
That's true. That's very true. So I guess we'll see. I feel like they're going to bring Cam. I don't know why. I just have this feeling in my gut that they're going to bring Cam back in the future.
Yeah. Or what is your favorite part of the week, Chad?
I really did enjoy the idea of people coming up to Cameron's tower to speak with him, just be shafted. So I just thought that was funny. And then the pie roulette with the noms was awesome. But I think a solid runner-up to my favorite moment is when Matt chose to take the Josh Duhamel punishment, and he's like, "Wait, I don't get to hang out with Josh Duhamel for the week." I think he was sincerely thought that he was actually getting a reward. I mean, not that it would have changed the week at all, because I don't think he plays the veto, but that was awesome.
Yeah, it's moments like that where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this person does not watch Big Brother. Has no idea what's happening. I
love Matt.
Oh, me too.
Matt's become my favorite character this season.
I think there was a conversation too in the feeds where he talked about meeting Shelley Poole from BB13 on the plane going through, and thinking that it was some kind of like producer plant trying to trick him into spilling to random civilians that he was going to be on Big Brother.
Oh my god,
that's hilarious.
I love this guy.
That. I love Shelley also, a star. I was going to say a forgotten star, but not really. Everyone was threatening her life, so I don't think people were going to forget about Shelley for getting rid of Big Jeff back in the day. But that's so funny to be on your way to play Big Brother and to run into someone who's played Big Brother.
Well, I think Taylor also said that she ran into somebody. I can't remember who.
That's so. I can see why Matt was a little like, is this real? Like,
yes, this seems like. Yeah.
How did he even recognize her if he's never watched the show?
No, she like mentioned to him, because he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go like film a show or something like that." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I was on Big Brother," and he's like, "This feels like a trick."
That's so funny.
And especially, I guess, because
funny.
someone clearly told him at some point, "Oh, you're gonna be like Tyler. Like this is Tyler. Like you're gonna have the same vibes as him." And then Shelley was like, "Oh, you're gonna be like Tyler, or you remind me of Tyler from Big Brother." He was definitely like, I can see why his alarm bells were ringing at that point, being like, "This is a trap."
Yeah,
definitely not like Tyler.
No. No,
I mean,
not as a player.
Matt said like an okay spot. Like I see many paths where Matt wins this season.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Like,
and I hope,
no joke. Like
I
he's
sincerely hope he does. Like,
he's not in any danger, and like he could easily just like comp out into a
Yeah.
final two.
Yeah, imagine how good he could be if he had known about Big Brother before he went on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's been really fun to watch.
yeah, he grew on me a lot.
Yeah, and I think the Josh Jamel thing was endearing.
It's definitely endearing for sure. Yeah.
And bringing him into vote, yesterday, and Julie being like, "Hello, Josh," and "Hello, Matt."
Mhm.
Like, that was fun too.
Also, him saying Julie's name wrong and then coming the next vote and being like, "Sorry for saying your name wrong, Julie."
What did he say? What was the
He's
incorrect
called her
name?
Julia.
Julia.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
on the live eviction before that.
Yeah.
That's
Tough.
awesome. That's
I
awesome.
feel like he must have just been stewing on that for the entire week.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be mad at him though.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no malice.
Yeah. It's big himbo, and he's very big himbo energy.
He's a huge himbo. It is great.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, it was fun. Love a vote flip, especially when there's been so many unanimous votes this season. Love a power, structure being upended. Now the power gets flipped back to the people who were in power before. We got double eviction coming up. Lots to talk about next week. So yeah, very excited.
For sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for checking out this episode, everybody. Do you guys have anything you want to plug before I do the plugging? Other
You
stuff?
can find me on Twitter here and see some one tweet I do a week.
Yes, I'm also.
That's
I'm also on here.
Hey,
Also on Twitter /X, whatever you're calling it now. And other than that, check out our sports channel with Huge Sports. We got all kinds of sports talk. The NFL's in full swing, so we'll be talking about that a lot as the season goes on. And then we have the main channel, of course, where you get everything. And stick around. It's almost Survivor season, which means the Blindsiders is coming back. But I don't know how we're going to do this.
I don't either. Yeah, I mean, we have. Hopefully, we'll do a real cast assessment. We have a lot of runway here. We have 12 days until the season starts.
Right.
So we have some runway to do a cast assessment and like make winner picks ahead of time, as opposed to previous seasons that we haven't done that.
Yeah, right. Like this season of Big Brother, where we didn't have time to do that. But so please stick around here on Better Radio. And other than that, we'll see you all in the next one.